kids, welcome to Building on the Rock. Last week we covered the ark and how God is everywhere and able to do anything. But today we're doing a story that's a little more grounded, a little less difficult to comprehend, but it's an important lesson. We read chapter 9 of 2 Samuel from the first verse to the last verse, and it goes like this. David asked, "Is anyone left from the royal house of Saul? If there is, I want to be kind to him because of Jonathan." Ziba was a servant in Saul's family. David sent for him to come and see him. The king said to him, "Are you Ziba?" "I'm ready to serve you," he replied. The king asked, "Isn't anyone left from the royal house of Saul? God has been very kind to me. I would like to be kind to someone in the same way." Ziba answered the king, "A son of Jonathan is still living. Both of his feet were hurt." "Where is he?" the king asked. Ziba answered, "He's in the town of Lo-debar." So King David had Mephibosheth brought from Maker's house in Lo-debar. Mephibosheth came to David. He was the son of Jonathan, the son of Saul. Mephibosheth bowed down to David to show him respect. David said, "Mephibosheth, I'm ready to serve you." He replied. "Don't be afraid," David told him. "You can be sure that I will be kind to you because of your father Jonathan. I'll give you back all of the land that belonged to your grandfather Saul, and I'll always provide what you need." Mephibosheth bowed down to David. He said, "Who am I? Why should you pay attention to me? I'm nothing but a dead dog." Then the king sent for Saul's servant Ziba. He said to him, "I'm giving your master's grandson everything that belonged to Saul and his family. You and your sons and your servants must farm the land for him. You must bring in the crops. Then he'll be taken care of. I'll always provide what he needs." Ziba had 15 sons and 20 servants. Then Ziba said to the king, "I'll do anything you command me to do. You are my king and master." So David provided what Mephibosheth needed. He treated him like one of the king's sons. Mephibosheth had a young son named Micah. All of the members of Ziba's family became servants of Mephibosheth. Mephibosheth lived in Jerusalem. The king always provided what he needed. Both of his feet were hurt. This is a twofold story of kindness and goodness. For you see, Jonathan, if you forget, was very kind to David. He always looked at David's interests more than Saul's interests because he knew David to be a good man and Saul to be possessed by evil spirits, to be torn away from God. So, with Jonathan not being around anymore and David finally being king, he wants to do good for Jonathan and his family with the blessing that God has given him from being king. So it is both a story of the goodness of Jonathan and how it comes back to save his son Mephibosheth, who couldn't work because of his hurt feet, and also the use of blessings to help those in need. For the reason Mephibosheth was the only surviving member of the family was because he had hurt feet. He was the only one in need. Everyone else had either died of old age or died trying to fight David. The one who was left was one God had left because he did not fight against David and his rule, and he bowed down and respected the king and the king's God. He even said he was nothing but a dead dog before him, which is why we have the little dog design there and the feet. So please, give blessings, give them graciously. Give what you have to those in need, and give what you have to those in need both for yourself and for them. For don't do things just because good things happen to you, if you do, but do things because of the goodness that's been done to you. If you know that you have been blessed by someone, bless them back, and bless those in need, and help those around you, because when you do good, it comes back either in this life or the next, or for the family after you. Goodness is not something that is not repaid, but don't give thinking it has to be. Because if you give by seeking repayment, it may not happen. Especially because it certainly didn't happen in Jonathan's life. And I mean, really, what do you got to worry about after your own life? I hope you enjoyed this lesson this week, and I'm going to show you how to make the dog and hurt feet. Today we're going to be building the feet that were hurt and the dog in the allegory. We're going to start with the feet. What you're going to need is 4 2x4s, like so, and attach a 2x4 dark plate on top. You're going to need to do that twice, and you'll have 2 things like that. But you're going to need the front toes. For that, you're going to need 2x3s in bright yellow, and place them next to each other to have the toes curl in, like so. When you got that in place, we're going to put this aside and work on the dog. The dog starts with front feet and back feet, but both have a 2x4 in nuggets. Convene them together like so, and for the front feet, add round 1x1s in dark brown, and for the back, add 1x2 in dark red. That makes sure the feet stay locked, and it's a lot more secure that way. Now, we're going to attach the body with a 2x3 in tan, a bright yellow 1x2, and a darker yellow 1x3. So we start with the body, then we add more of that body, and finally we add a nice little small tail on the back. Wiggle wiggle. Now it needs a head, and for that it'll also need a collar. So for this we're going to grab a sloped tan 2x3, put it on the front here, and a dark black 2x2 in plate form, attached like so. Now we then attach the tongue and the first part of the head. The tongue is a 2x8 red plate, and the head is a 2x3 tan brick, like the body was. Now, we're not going to be putting any eyes on it because it's underneath its shaggy fur. We are going to add some nice dark ears. Brown 2x3s attached on both sides of the body. Now, if you want to play with it, he's got a nice little licking action. Feels gross, just like a real dog. And you can move the front feet a little bit. But do be careful. Those feet are a little fragile, and so are the ears. So be sure to be careful playing with them, just like a real dog. I hope you enjoyed this lesson today, and I'll see you again next week.